All right, ladies and gentlemen, guys, we'd like to welcome you to the show. This is your host of the evening, DJ Just Jay with Just Dimes ENT. I'd like to welcome you guys to the Soto Podcast. I'm bringing you guys this story because we advocate for children first. What we're here to talk about is this gentleman on the screen, and his name is John Michael Aldana. I'm going to spell his last name so you guys will know. Aldana. It's either Aldana or Aldana. I don't really give a crap what it is because I don't care to pronounce his name properly. He is 22 years old, and he was arrested Tuesday on suspicion of child abuse after the death and apparent sexual abuse of a 1-year-old girl, and this is in Phoenix, Arizona. This is by way of court record, so if people want to know, you need to get your facts straight. And they always want to comment in my chat and all that kind of stuff and tell me that I don't have my facts right. Well, why don't you go tell the courts that? Why don't they tell the police that, right? Because that's where the information is coming from. It is coming directly from the source. But nonetheless, I think they do it just to troll, but it's okay. I'll address it again. Now, he was arrested by Phoenix police after his girlfriend, and his girlfriend's name is Kayla Bailey, all right? After the girlfriend, Kayla Bailey, found the child unresponsive Sunday at their apartment in the 3000 block of West Dunlap Avenue, records detail. Now, this is on April the 7th at 8:10 a.m. Phoenix police officers arrived at the scene of the residence on West Dunlap Avenue after receiving a call about that little girl, about an unresponsive 1-year-old girl. A short time later, Phoenix Fire Department crews at the scene pronounced the child dead at 8:15 a.m. Now, the significance is because one thing that I always tell you guys is I don't believe in spanking. I think it's wrong. I think that people need to stop hitting kids, spanking kids, physically disciplining children because it's been taken too far before. Most of you guys, if you've ever been spanked or whooped by your parents, most people can tell a story about their parents taking it too far, letting their anger and their emotions and the energy that it takes to spank a kid overwhelm them. And you could end up doing too much, right? So in my opinion, parents should keep their hands, feet, and other objects off of children, especially when they cannot defend themselves. You always wonder why we don't spank kids when they're 16, 17, 18, 19 years old? Because they can actually fight you back. So in my opinion, it almost makes you kind of a bully. Keep in mind, we're talking about a 1-year-old baby, and she has the sweetest face, the most innocent face that you could possibly imagine. When you look into the definition of innocent, I would imagine seeing a face like that, right? I love children. I love all children. I believe that they are born innocent. We have to teach them things. And I believe that if we raise children and bond with children from the moment that they are born, then we can actually get them to go in the direction that we want them to go. But we have to start respecting children. If we do respect children first, they will reciprocate it. Now, for the people that are watching this stream, please do me a favor and hit that thumbs up. It will share our stream and let other people know that we're live telling the story about her. Okay? Now, her name, if you didn't tell from the title, her name is Priscilla Munoz. M-U-N-O-Z. She is 1 year old out of Arizona. Okay? Now, after the baby was pronounced dead by the Phoenix Fire Department, police detectives began an investigation revealing that the child had, and that's the mom, by the way, that's Kayla right there, okay? And Kayla has a GoFundMe. We'll talk about her GoFundMe here in just a little bit. But they began investigating and revealing that the child had numerous small circular bruises over her lower abdominal area, blood in her diaper, and what appeared to be trauma around her genital area, records show. Aldana, who lived with his girlfriend, who lived with Kayla, right? Her 2 children and several other friends and family is not the biological father of either of his girlfriend's children, records show. Now, how many times have I told you guys? It is very dangerous for women to date men. when you have small children around, right? It is also very dangerous because those men don't value these children the same way that they would their own flesh and blood. In turn, it makes a very dangerous situation for these children because they cannot defend themselves against somebody like John Aldana, right? Another thing that I've also told you guys, from my understanding, that this dude also has a little bit of a criminal history, and I've told you guys about dating thugs. If you date thugs, you date death. I don't know why anybody would even want to dispute that. I've seen people try to dispute me on that, but it's the premise that we're talking about. If somebody lives their life in a non-reputable way, then chances are that they're not going to be good to have around kids. Uh-oh, I hope everybody caught what I just said. Now, according to investigators, Aldana, his girlfriend, and the baby stayed in a bedroom of the apartment together along with the child's 4-year-old brother. The mother told investigators the baby was sleeping and Aldana was putting the 4-year-old son to sleep when she returned to the apartment around 1:30 a.m., took a shower, and went to sleep, records detail. The mother said the baby and the 4-year-old son appeared to be sleeping when she got home, records show. Per court paperwork, the suspect told police he was alone in the bedroom with the children the entire time the mother was gone, claimed he was awake the entire time and would have known if someone had come into the bedroom while he was with the children. He woke up at 8 a.m. to find the victim face down and unresponsive. The chances of a baby being face down and unresponsive due to no fault of your own is very unlikely. Not to say it's impossible, but very unlikely. It means something happened, all right? Now, Aldana called 911 and performed CPR while waiting for paramedics to arrive. During an examination the following day, investigators found that the girl had a subdural hematoma on her brain. So what does that mean? I want you guys to tell me. You guys are smart. What does a subdermal hematoma mean? Does anybody like to take a guess at that? Keep in mind, we're talking about a 1-year-old little bitty tiny baby. Probably not able to walk yet, and definitely not able to speak yet. A subdermal hematoma is a collection of blood outside the brain. Subdural hematomas are usually caused by severe head injuries. The bleeding and increased pressure on the brain from a subdermal hematoma can be life-threatening. We're talking about a 1-year-old baby. That means that this baby had an impact. That means that this dude, Aldana, probably hit this kid so hard that it caused brain bleeding. Brain bleeding, okay? She had a subdermal hematoma on her brain, abdominal trauma, and trauma indicative of sexual abuse. Do I need to read that again, or did everybody catch that? I know we're live, and I know you people are typing in the live chat right now. I want to know if you guys need to hear that again. Okay? They found brain trauma, abdominal trauma, and trauma in this baby's area that would indicate sexual abuse. Kingdom Minded got it right. They believe that Aldana sexually assaulted this 1-year-old baby. That's with forensic pathology information, and stated that it was non-accidental. It was purposefully done. Forensic evidence proves that. This really bothers the heck out of me. I'm trying to get more people to come into the stream while we're live. So if you guys would hit that thumbs up for me, and it'll share the show as new people come in. Just scroll down, take a look for a moment, and see if you've hit that thumbs up. See if it's blue. If not, just make it blue. Hit the thumbs up. It'll alert other people to let them know that we're live. Okay? Now, on April the 9th, police say during an interview, Aldana was confronted with the results of post-mortem examination, and he showed signs of deception. This is also court records, which is how I ended up finding a lot of this stuff. So if you guys wonder, that was a screenshot of the court records that I found on my own. The forensic pathologist stated that the trauma observed to the baby was non-accidental trauma. Aldana denied any sexual contact with that child, but he admitted he kicked her after she became fussy. How many of you guys have ever been around a baby? How many of you guys have ever dealt with a baby? Anybody? I personally was in my daughter's life from the moment that she was born. Babies get fussy. It happens. That's why it's not meant for one person to raise a kid. And it's also meant that biologically, the biological mother and biological father, the nuclear family, is supposed to be the one raising this baby, because more times than none, they are going to be the ones that care for this kid and protect this kid. It's not meant for boyfriend or some dude that you just met to care about this kid like the biological father would. Hashtag not all for the people that ain't that bright. Right? He admitted to kicking her after she became fussy when her mother was out of the room. Aldana said the baby's head hit the closet door. The 1-year-old baby's head hit the closet door, and she rolled back onto a pillow and stopped crying shortly after her mother returned to the bedroom, records detail. Last part. When Aldana returned to the apartment, he inspected the area where the girl's head hit the door and found that it was damaged in the area of impact. Investigators stated based on the circumstances, it was apparent the suspect's action caused an injury to the child, which resulted in the child's death. Police say Aldana was not under the influence of alcohol or drugs at the time of the alleged event. All right. Now, Aldana was booked into the Maricopa County Jail in Arizona on suspicion of child abuse and is being held on a $250,000 bail and is due on court tomorrow. Maybe we can actually catch that and show that stream for you guys, all right? So let me go ahead and show you guys the couple of videos that we had. Let's go ahead and get this fair use going. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. All right, again, you guys, do me a favor. We almost got about 150 people here right now. We just started, so please hit that thumbs up for me. Here's the rest of the story from the news people.
We are turning now to a developing story, and it is disturbing. This one is coming your way out of Phoenix. A man behind bars right now. It's stomach turning. He is accused of sexually abusing and killing his girlfriend's 1-year-old daughter.
22-year-old John Michael Aldana now under arrest. Police say the incident happened late Sunday at a home near 35th Avenue in Dunlap. Aldana's girlfriend, the mother of the victim, left him in charge so she could go buy some medication. The next morning, they noticed the child was unresponsive. Police say that the suspect admitted to kicking the child, but denied any sexual abuse. He is now facing a number of charges, including child abuse.
All right, everybody catch that? Here's the next video.
Now, there's a story unfolding here in Phoenix that is just heartbreaking and really difficult to tell. Police arresting a man who's accused of kicking a 1-year-old baby girl to death.
That man, now behind bars, is even accused of sexually abusing that child. Team 12's Nicole Zymek live in the Alert Center tonight with these disturbing details being released in this investigation. Nicole.
Yeah, Mike, according to these documents, the suspect, John Aldana, was the boyfriend of the baby's mother. And while she was out getting some medicine for her baby, police say that Aldana carried out a vicious attack.
Crying frantically, and then all of a sudden cops were everywhere.
Heartbreak coming to this apartment complex near 35th Avenue in Dunlap Sunday morning.
She was yelling.
Somebody asked, next morning? Yes. That's what they tend to do, is they tend to leave these kids around the boyfriends for however long they leave them around there. Yes, so you heard that right. She left the baby with the boyfriend. This probably ain't the first time.
Crying frantically, and then all of a sudden cops were everywhere.
Heartbreak coming to this apartment complex near 35th Avenue in Dunlap Sunday morning.
She was yelling and screaming about her baby.
That screaming, according to paperwork, coming from a mother who had just discovered her 12-month-old baby girl was dead. When police arrived, they found the body of that little one with bruises on her stomach and blood in her diaper. The mother telling detectives she left her baby with her boyfriend, 23-year-old John Aldana.
He was very friendly. He'll walk around here and say hi to everybody. Didn't seem like a bad guy.
But court paperwork showing a darker side, revealing investigators performed a post-mortem exam on the baby and found she had bleeding in her brain, consistent with severe head trauma, and trauma to her private parts, indicative of sexual abuse. Police arresting Aldana, who according to paperwork denied any sexual contact with the infant, but admitted to kicking her so hard that the closet door was broken in the area where she hit her head.
You know, I seen her with the baby a couple of times.
The mother?
Yeah, and they didn't seem like they were anything wrong. You know, they seemed very loving.
And Aldana is currently in jail on a $250,000 cash bond. He's expected again in court next week. Live in the Alert Center, Nicole Zymek, 12 News.
All right, now let me go ahead and get to this last video, and I'm going to give you guys a little bit of information. This part of the story is a bit more detailed, so I want to make sure that you guys hear this out. Again, as a last reminder, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. Thank you to everybody that's already hit that thumbs up, okay?
A bright, beautiful, bubbly baby girl whose life was violently taken away. Police tell us the 12-month-old was found dead inside this Phoenix apartment last week with extensive trauma to her head and stomach and signs she'd been sexually abused.
Heartbreaking. Yeah, there's no other word for that. It's the worst thing, I guess.
This is the man Phoenix police say.
I'm going to tell you guys something real quick, and I don't mean to pick on this woman because I don't think that she deserves to be picked on. But Michelle Rodriguez, number one, I don't like her demeanor. She seems to not really give a crap. I mean, she seems to be smiling, and she said, I guess this is the worst thing, I guess. You're talking about a 1-year-old baby, that this baby probably has some similar bloodline to whatever nationality that you have, and this doesn't bother you even as a mother, as a neighbor. This doesn't bother you. Like, that don't shake you to your core. That doesn't make you upset. I'm going to replay this again, and y'all tell me, am I just being really, really mean right now?
Heartbreaking. Yeah, there's no other word for that. It's the worst thing, I guess.
This is the man.
It's the worst thing, you guess? Someone raping a 1-year-old baby and killing it and kicking it so hard that it put a dent in a door? What do you mean you guess? I don't understand. That's what I'm talking about when I say if you see something, say something. If she's talking about, well, I guess, dude, that you probably have seen some things that you probably should have reported. Because you seem to be real nonchalant about that.
Extensive trauma to her head and stomach and signs she'd been,
I guess,
sexually abused.
Because the news people told her what happened and this was her response. I'm just saying, it bothered me. Listen again.
Heartbreaking. Yeah, there's no other word for that. It's the worst thing, I guess.
This is the man Phoenix police say is responsible for her death. Mom's boyfriend, 22-year-old John Michael Aldana. According to court records, Aldana was babysitting the child and her 4-year-old brother at their...
I agree. You said people are desensitized in our society. That's part of what I was trying to catch. That's the part that I was trying to clarify for people. that a lot of times we watch these news stories and they'll just go by. We'll watch 6 of these news stories in a row, but how many times do we go back and remember and think about these stories? You just see them and they go away, and then the next set of stories come. That's why we like to take an extended look at these stories and point out some things in these stories, right?
Apartment off Dunlap and 33rd Avenue. Mom had run out to get some medication. At some point, Aldana reportedly kicked the child into a closet door, and the suspect heard a loud thud.
I've asked you guys this before we wrap up. I've asked you guys this. Let me get that baby's face back up on the screen real quick. I want to ask you guys something. Let me see if I can. That right there. What is it that that baby in particular, what is it that she could have did that was so bad that he treated her like a soccer ball or freaking like a football punt and kicked this baby into a wall? Like, what could this baby have done, dude, that is that bad? Period. Like, these people are just doing like the most heinous, the worst stuff that you could ever think of. I don't understand that. He kicked the child and hit the closet door. You know how hard you have to kick a 1-year-old to make it fling into a door? Just Jesus Christ, man. Man, just wow. Ooh-wee, man.
Mom had run out to get some medication. At some point, Aldana reportedly kicked the child into a closet door, and the suspect heard a loud thud. When Mom came home a short time later, she thought the baby was sleeping. The next morning, Mom found her baby unresponsive and called 911.
You kicked a 1-year-old child into a door. And you thought everything was going to be okay? You didn't imagine breaking ribs, damaging the insides, head trauma, not being able to breathe, killing the goddamn kid? Like, what? It's a freaking 1-year-old. Not a 100-year-old. You could probably kill a 100-year-old kid that way. You'll probably kill a 10-year-old kid that way. And I'm going to tell you guys something. Hashtag thank you, P-Man 007. Where is the father? I want to pose a question to Kayla. Where is the father to these kids? I would love to know where the father is to these kids, why the father is not there, and why she felt so comfortable bringing a stranger around her kids. If you needed to leave your kids with anybody, why not leave it with the biological father? If you can't leave the kids with the biological father, then you probably should not be leaving the kids around a dude that you really don't know that's not the biological father. In turn, we should not be procreating this way because the children are suffering. I'm tired of doing these stories where we continue to keep looking at people do the same exact thing where there are no biological fathers in the families, there are no marriages, there's no commitment, there is no nothing, and we continue to keep bringing random men around our children. We all know that these quote-unquote random men and boyfriends are dangerous. A lot of us have lived through that. Am I speaking anybody's pain out there right now? Hello, somebody say something in the chat. Somebody let me know when I've said something that's real. How many women grew up in a household with an asshole that was abusive, that was verbally abusive, mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally abusive to you? How many women out there have been raped by some random dude that mama had up in the house and you were afraid to say anything? How many women out there have been taken advantage of and been abused? Happens to boys too. How many of my brothers have been out there and been abused by a random man that mama brought home? Because most of us grew up in homes that were broken, that did not have the normal nuclear functionality. Normal nuclear functionality. Can somebody post that in the chat? Normal nuclear functionality. A lot of us have seen this, if not experienced it ourselves. And what I'm trying to tell you is if we were kids and if we had the power to change that, I guarantee you that we would. If we had a chance to fight back, we would. If we had a chance to put that person out of their misery, we would. You're too small, you're too young, you're too inexperienced, and you cannot speak for yourself and you cannot defend yourself. It is not your fault. It is the one that is in charge of your destiny, your parent, in this case, the mother. In the black community, more times than none, it's usually the mother that is the head of the household. It absolutely has to stop. We see this happen in other cultures as well. We don't primarily just put a huge light on the black community. We put a huge focus on children. How about that? So for the people that think, oh, you're bashing. Well, if you don't care about children, then I'm sorry. Then maybe this channel isn't for you. We are here to advocate for children first. That is what we're here to do. That is who we are here to speak up for and who we're here to try to help and change the mentality. If we change the mentality, we can say to kids. If we believe that we can fix, if we believe that we can fix the mentality that you should not hit children, you should not kick children, you should not beat children, you should not drop children, and you should not leave children around people that have not proven themselves over time to be trustworthy. Everybody catch that? Thank you, Passion, especially if they have a criminal past. That shows you their pattern of behavior. Doesn't make them all bad, but it does show you a pattern of their behavior. So if something bad does happen, then it falls back on the person that put those kids in that situation. Let's finish this story.
I didn't see any evidence of anybody being robbed.
Neighbor William Watkins told us the boyfriend seemed to get along with the kids and he never saw any violent behavior.
I've seen him through the window, like on the side when we parked the car. He's always watching the kids. Doesn't seem like he's like a brute.
He's always watching the kids, so you just heard it from the neighbor. You heard it from the neighbor's mouth, and he said he's always watching the kids, meaning the mother probably always leaves the kids with him. How about that?
Any violent behavior.
I've seen him through the window, like on the side when we parked the car. He's always watching the kids. Doesn't seem like he's like a brute or anything like that. So
didn't seem like he'd be capable of something like this?
No.
And then when you hear about it?
Then you're like, well, wow, it's kind of shock.
Aldana has been charged with 1 count of child abuse, but there may be more charges to come, possibly murder and sexual assault based on the evidence detectives uncover. Investigators reportedly found bruising around the baby's private parts.
Responding to these types of calls are always very difficult for first responders. You never know what we're up against, but being a first responder, regardless of which position we have, knowing that this happens to a child, it's always difficult to accept.
The boyfriend, John Aldana, is being held here on a $250,000 bond. In downtown Phoenix, Jason Berry for Arizona's Family.
Right. So this is how I want to wrap up, because most of the things I wanted to say, I've already said. And again, you know, also, I wanted to point this out before I forget. The mother, again, her name is Kayla, has a GoFundMe up. Where do I have a GoFundMe at? I'll find it here in just a moment. Give me just a second. So if anybody wants to know what a GoFundMe is, I know that that there was some information that was really, really hard to find. But we were able to find the GoFundMe, which is how I was able to end up finding the rest of this information. So for anybody, if you guys find it in your heart that you want to contribute to the situation, because they left a very limited amount of information out there. You didn't know who the baby was initially. You didn't know who the mom was initially. But here is the GoFundMe, and that is Priscilla's Life Celebration. That is how you find the correct GoFundMe, which, as you guys can see right here on the screen, right here, that is the mother, Kayla Bailey. She left a message here, and it says, with a heart full of anger, we come to you and ask you for help to lay my beautiful daughter to rest. She was taken away too soon in a way that made it so she could not fight for her life. She was truly a sweetheart who deserved nothing but the best and whose innocence got ripped from her just at the age of 1. So you guys can read the rest of that. She left a lot of information there. I thought it was very well written. You have a lot of people that are just now starting to find the GoFundMe. If they would have put the information out earlier, sure, more people would have gotten her closer to her goal. So in 6 days, only 76 people have found this. Well, now we're looking at this stream and we have almost about 200 people that will have known and heard that this GoFundMe exists. So if you guys want to find it, you can find it that way. It's right here. But hopefully she will reach her goal. But I will tell you guys this. As much as she can reach her goal, there's nothing that's ever going to bring that baby back. All right. Now, more than anything, we just want to make sure that that the mother, Kayla, you know, is able to bury her baby. I hope that that we learn, not only Kayla, but I hope the rest of us learn that we have to start taking procreation seriously. We have to start taking families seriously. I think that the best way to raise children is in a nuclear family. Please look up what nuclear family is. Mother and father, biological mother, biological father in the household. You can have a different person that's not that kid's father step into that role, but I think the best way to do it is to get married. Women wonder why it's so easy for men to walk out of these kids' lives. Well, I always ask women, what commitment did that man make to you? Marriage doesn't guarantee anything, but what a marriage does at least do is it puts out a promise in front of the pastor, in front of family and friends, and to the state of wherever you live at, that you are going to make a lifelong commitment to that mother, to that family, to any kids that y'all have between each other or any kids that you guys have outside of each other. That's what it does do. I hope I didn't have to speak any slower to get people to understand what I just said. It works better that way when we used to do it that way back in the day. It's not to say that bad things don't happen and couldn't still happen, but it lessens the likelihood if we try to do things right. Now, last thing I want to say, for anybody that needs help, first and foremost, if you guys need tips about how to discipline children, please don't hesitate to email me. I think I have some awesome tips, and I do respond to you guys' comments in the comment section after the video is over, and I try to help people out as much as I possibly can to give them perspective. The Child Help National Child Abuse Hotline is a national hotline that's dedicated to the prevention of child abuse, serving the U.S. and Canada, and the hotline is staffed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so you guys will know that. With professional crisis counselors, through interpreters, provide assistance in over 170 languages. The hotline offers crisis intervention, information, and referrals to thousands of emergency social service and support resources. All calls are confidential. Bottom line, we're here to answer the call. You guys can find that at childhelp.org. And they also have a phone number at 800-4A-CHILD or 800-422-4453. Don't let it ever be an excuse to why you guys cannot reach out for help. If you see something, please, for the children, say something. This is your boy DJ Just Jay signing out. Love yourselves first every day. Thank you guys so much for listening to the story.